Bildung ist mehr als Büffeln in dicken Schwarten. Mehr als gute Noten. Bildung ist Freude an neuen Interessen, neuen Freundschaften, neuen Perspektiven und neuem Selbstbewusstsein. Bildung ist mehr als nur Wissen. BFI. Bildung, Freude inklusive.
Ja, herzlich willkommen zu unserem Webinar Die Vernetzung der Welt. Mein Name ist Jan Weinrich und ich habe die große Freude, Sie heute durch diesen Nachmittag begleiten zu dürfen. Was erwartet Sie? Es erwartet Sie ein Vortrag von Deon Newman, dem VIC-Präsident von IBM Watson. Aus terminlichen Gründen mussten wir diesen Teil vorab aufzeichnen. Wir werden aber im Anschluss, also wir, das ist Thomas Teufl, der Geschäftsbereichsleiter für Privat- und Firmenkunden beim BFI Wien, und ich natürlich Ihre Fragen beantworten und zudem über den Connex von Bildung und Internet of Things etwas plaudern. Noch ein technischer Hinweis: In der Mitte des Screens finden Sie einen Anfasser, einen sogenannten, mit dem können Sie die Bildgröße des Videos nach Ihrem Belieben anpassen. Es bleibt mir nur noch viel Spaß mit Deon Newman zu wünschen. Wir sehen uns in Kürze.
It's great to be with you. I apologize firstly for my English, and my German is not great, but we will do our best to tell a good story. So I get to talk about some of the most interesting and transformative technologies in the world today. And this is around the intersection of the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. You know, we're finding that we live in a new world where everything is being digitized. There's a lot of conversation in business about digital transformation. And, you know, that's not surprising. Businesses are trying to deal with the ongoing digitization of everything. In the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, we digitized everything to do with the back office. The general ledger, the way that we receive money and pass money, the way the transactions occur. That was the digitization then. We moved to the internet and the revolution of the internet, and we digitized communications. We digitized the way that commerce went on, the transactions around commerce. And the final leg now is about the digitization of everything physical. Now, this is important. You know, this allows us to start to know what really happens in the world. It's good that we can track assets from a theoretical standpoint and a numbers standpoint in accounting, but it would be great to know, where are my trucks? What temperature are they keeping things at? Are we keeping to our service level agreements? Are our machines working the way we expected them to? Are there vibrations in the elevators that are going up that suggest that that might break soon? Are engines making noises that suggest to us that maybe they're going to break down soon? Can we predictively get ahead of that and actually start to address it based on rules? Can we see patterns that otherwise we couldn't see about the way those assets are performing in buildings? How are people coming in and out of that building every day? Do I need to cook 1,000 hot lunches today, or because of a special change in weather or traffic situation, are there less people in the building and therefore I don't need to cook as much? Do I have spillage that maybe I can avoid someone tripping on in that building? Can I recognize that with video and go and address it before someone gets hurt? These are the possibilities that the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence are opening for us in the world. And it's truly an exciting time to be working with this type of technology. If you take some key industries, think about the oil and gas industry. There are 80,000 sensors in a single facility that will produce 15 petabytes of data. It's a huge amount of data that can tell us incredible things. In public safety, more than 520 terabytes of data are produced by New York City surveillance cameras every single day. That data can tell us enormous amounts about what's happening. Is safety being somehow compromised? Is there something going on? Are there traffic issues that we can deal with? A huge amount in that information. Energy and utility sector. There are smart meters everywhere. 680 million smart meters will produce 280 petabytes of data each day by 2017. Amazing amounts of data, great opportunity for us to mine it. And in healthcare, the machines are producing enormous amounts of information. Now, what's fascinating is only about 20% of this data today is even searchable. 80% of that data is not even being taken advantage of today. There is tremendous opportunity there to find insight, and to drive action. And that's why IoT is such a fascinating topic and on the tip of everyone's tongue, and one of the hottest digital search terms in the industry today, because there's so much opportunity created by this. The other thing that we're seeing is that we're moving for the first time where the primary is not the manufacturing of the mechanical thing. The engineering of it is important, but that's moving to being software. So inside a new car now, you will have 100 million lines of code. These things are software centers on wheels. And of course, you have this software center on wheels, you can't have a blue screen. That is not our expectation as users. If you're with a plane that's full of code now, we can't have that blue screen in the air. That's impossible, it cannot happen. So the software and the way that software is engineered becomes very, very important. In a smart device, a microwave, for example, 5 million lines of code will be in there. And these things for the first time are being connected to everything. Everything is getting connected. So what does that do? Well, think about this. Most things over the last 100 years have been sold through a retail, through a wholesale step, not by the original manufacturer. Now, the original manufacturer can be connected directly to the consumer. This opens up a whole new opportunity from a relationship standpoint, a whole new opportunity to have a dialogue with your consumer and change the brand experience. This is incredibly powerful. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and of course there are other people who want to take advantage of that connection and do that retail transaction. There are very savvy consumer technology companies who are looking to come in and take advantage of that connection and offer new service, new value, new ways of interacting with their business to steal that retail transaction. So this is a very interesting time. There's software in our smartphones, there's software in pacemakers, there's software everywhere. And it's offering new levels of connection. With IBM, we're dealing with about 6,000 different clients on a day-to-day basis. We're learning in every industry different use cases around IoT. So whether that's in the retail space, whether that is in aviation, whether that is in the auto business, where we work with 23 of the top 25 auto companies, with all of the major telecom companies, with all the electronic companies, with many, many more companies, we're seeing some common use cases. And this is what makes it very exciting. These use cases are not industry specific, although they have industry flavor, but actually there are some very common things that we observe. Two key opportunities emerge. One is about delivering better brand experience and better customer relationships, and the other is in the manufacturing and the operations process, in supply chain, in logistics. We're seeing opportunities for operational excellence. Better quality, better uptime, better productivity, better operational excellence. So let's investigate a few of these and maybe bring some examples to the fore. Take a company like Whirlpool. This is one of the world's great brands. They have over 34 million appliances that are out with their consumers. Almost all of these have been delivered through a retailer. Now, a company like this spends a lot of time building out world-class technology. Appliances that can deliver multiple functions. Now, if you're like me, although the washing machine that I have can do 20 different cycles, I use one. My dishwasher, I probably use three different cycles on there, although I have many more options. My smart fridge, has a lot of capability, but again, I probably don't leverage all of that. The problem is that Whirlpool, not with a day-to-day relationship with that client, can't see that. They don't have that visibility, and so they produce for the full range of clients. Now, of course, they focus group this, they test them, but they find that different people like different things, and so they package them up and they ship them. But imagine, as they are, if these were connected devices. Imagine the possibility of these devices connected and providing more information. So you think about the life cycle here. If a connected washing machine is there, what can they do? They can see the way the consumer is using that washing machine. So think about this. The only time they hear from their consumer today is when something goes wrong, when something breaks. And that is not a good time to upsell an extended warranty, to upsell some other capability, to offer them a new one. You have to fix the problem. So they roll a machine out, maintenance van out to go and fix the machine. Now, a lot of times they find that the part they need to fix the machine, because they don't know what's broken until they get there, they have to send the van back to the warehouse to get the part. It's very frustrating for you as a consumer. It's frustrating for them too because it costs a lot of money. So if they're connected, they can, when they hear there's a problem, they can look at what's going wrong and they can be a lot smarter about what the problem is. They can ensure that the part is on the van before it goes out there and they fix it straight away. In fact, they can see that because you always use your washing machine on heavy duty, they can help you. They can be an advisor to you and say, did you know your machine is going to wear out 25% sooner because of the cycle you run on? We'll fix it this time, but did you know that if you use this economy function, your machine would last another 3 years? Or they could say, we can see the way that you're using this, and in fact, your machine is probably near end of life. You probably only have 6 months to go. And today we have a special offer running. Would you be interested in this machine? Which, by the way, does not have as many features, but you don't need them because you always use it this way. Or you could imagine something like Whirlpool, because they're connected, starting to understand the profile of the way you consume washing detergent. And maybe they could have a group of partners who come together to give you, based on a service contract, much more attractive pricing. They can also see the way that the machines are being used at aggregate, and it can help them with the design of future products. So you have tremendous benefit both to the consumer in the value that can be delivered, and also to the manufacturer who now has a relationship with the end customer. This is the possibility from improving a brand experience through connection of products with the Internet of Things. Businesses are also thinking about new spaces that they can move into, transformational revenue opportunities. So you take a company like Daimler, one of the world's great auto companies, producer of some of the greatest cars in the industry, great trucks, many things that move. So they saw an opportunity in the way that we were consuming cars, that we weren't always just going to buy cars, that some people, because of where they live, because of their lifestyle, because of the way they work, that they maybe didn't want to own a car, or maybe they wanted a different type of car on the weekend. So they developed a program called Car2Go. Now, Car2Go is in about 70 cities around the world and is a club essentially of millions of people who have an app on their phone that has sensors in the car. And when they want a car, they look at their app, and because of the IoT devices in that car, they can see there's a car parked on the street 2 blocks away. They go to that car, they get a code, they put the code into the car unlocks into the phone, the car unlocks, they get in the car and off they go. Now think about this, they have about 30 sensors in that car. They can see how you drive, they know how you drive. Imagine a future for a car company where they understand through clubs and services how someone drives, and they can offer a better insurance program, perhaps, based on the risk profile of the way you drive that car. I mean, the possibilities are endless, and certainly with a very simplified model of just how can we give greater access to our cars through a service, Daimler has created a whole new business model, which many have tried to emulate in the industry. Okay. Operational excellence. So many companies are looking for ways to reduce cost in the manufacturing process, in the shipping process, in supply chain, in the way they manage their buildings. And the Internet of Things can help them do that. It can give them data that shows them, is a line performing how it should? Are they fulfilling what they need to from an operational standpoint in the way the supply chain is working? There's tremendous opportunities to reduce cost, to reduce waste, to maintain on a smarter cycle, because today, at the most basic level, companies maintain based on rules. They say every 3 months we'll replace these filters. Every 6 months we need to replace this particular pump element. We have to replace every part on a plane based on an assumption that it will fly through X thousand miles of turbulence. But as we start to instrument up, as we start to apply sensors to pieces of this technology, we can start to get accurate. We can start to work by rules that tell us, based on real-time information, how that part is performing, how that line is performing, how our operations are operating, and we can find opportunities to get a lot more efficient. One great company doing this has a very interesting application of the technology. Their name is Schaeffler. Schaeffler is one of the world's great ball bearing companies. Now, ball bearings seem like a very innocent thing. They're inside every single moving device, whether it's a windmill or a train or an auto. There are ball bearings throughout those products. Schaeffler are turning those ball bearings into sensors so that they can ensure that the ball bearings are operating to the level they should. As part of their Industry 4.0 implementation and the digital transformation, they're putting the IoT and artificial intelligence to use to improve their operations and make themselves a much more powerful digital entity. Let's play a little video and take a look at the Schaeffler story.
We deploy bearings in particular, from very small bearings with 1 millimeter to 2 millimeters diameter to the very large bearings that are used in wind turbines. In the automotive business, here we have the full spectrum from bearings within the chassis to complex transmissions up to e-axles and hybrid modules.
Industry 4.0 is getting the data real-time information structure in this supply and manufacturing chain.
Our bearing of the future will be a digital enabled sensor, being part of the Internet of Things and being part of our value generation, which links bearings with more complex systems, with electronics, embedded software, as well as with additional services.
If we use IoT, we can be more flexible. So we can adapt faster, make decisions if something unforeseen happens.
We understand a lot more and allows us then to take actions on that in a way which was not known to up to now.
So this is important for our own efficiency, for our own improvement, flexibility.
We think highly about delivering customer value. We think that a true partnership between Schaeffler and IBM will guide us into the digital age and help us to shape the mobility for tomorrow.
Okay, so wonderful example of Industry 4.0 and digital transformation by Schaeffler. Let's talk a little bit now, as we've talked about those two use cases of brand experience and of operational excellence. Let's talk a little bit now about the underlying technology here. So think of this in a couple of different layers. On the base level of an IoT discussion is an IoT platform. And an IoT platform is made up of a couple of capabilities that are essential. In IBM's case, this is called the Watson IoT platform. And the Watson IoT platform firstly captures data, so it connects the sensor to the platform that lives in the cloud. And this platform allows us to capture information. It then sorts that information, so manages that information. It allows the analytics to look for the insight, so you can bring in the tooling in this platform to do that insight and that analysis on the information being captured. And then finally, it allows risk management. This is both security, this is blockchain style technologies that we'll talk about lastly. And then in addition, IBM brings a number of cognitive or artificial intelligence capabilities that can be put to use in this in this IoT platform. So these platforms are essential for building applications that can take advantage of the Internet of Things. Also, when one is building a thing that will be enabled with Internet of Things capability, this platform is very, very important. The major users of these will be developers of things, software developers, makers of Internet of Things devices. At the next layer, we think about this as solving line of business problems, applications that are built to solve a particular problem. This could be around business operations, so it could be enterprise asset management, it could be about predictive maintenance, it could be about supply chain management, or the applications could be things like engineering software to allow someone to build a connected device, to develop all that software that I was telling you are now inside our cars, inside our phones, inside our connected washing machines, as an example. So this is the second sort of layer of capability that's important in the Internet of Things. And then finally, as IBM looks at this market, we think about industry-specific applications as well. So we design IoT solutions for connected cars. We design them for electronic products. We design it for aviation and for airlines. We design IoT software for buildings and for retail capabilities, for manufacturing. So these have common, as I discussed earlier, attributes, but then we put an industry set of use cases together as well. For example, in manufacturing, we have software that will do quality inspection, that will actually look for defects in the design of a software using video recognition and using artificial intelligence to observe a product, maybe an LCD screen or a leather product or a door handle or a paint job on a car, and the technology can actually look and do the quality inspection. So you would find that in an industry-specific piece of software. And typically, the types of people looking for these solutions will be a C-level executive owning a particular line of business. So let's delve a little bit deeper into here and talk about some of the more interesting technologies being applied to IoT. One of the most fascinating ones is something that you may have heard of mainly in the financial sector, and that is blockchain. So blockchain came into public domain with a new cryptocurrency approach called Bitcoin. This was a capability that was built, essentially to compete with other currencies, and has garnered a lot of press in the world, and there's a big discussion in the financial sector. But fascinating is the underlying technology here, which is, as I said, called blockchain. This is basically an uneditable ledger of information. So why is this important in IoT? Well, if one thinks about supply chain, let me give you an example here. Let's say I was moving some raw meat from China to the United States. In that movement of raw produce, there may be 20 different couriers that touch that meat. When I say touch it, I mean the packaged meat. They'll pick it up, and the expectation is that that meat never goes above a certain temperature as it's being carried. But what do I do if I'm the store and the meat turns up and it's off? How do I know in my supply chain where that happened? Today, I have no idea. I can't tell where it broke down. I can't tell where the weak link is. All I know is I have product that I now need to make an insurance claim around, and somebody in the process here has lost a lot of money. But with blockchain technology, I can actually say the service level in the smart contract is that that meat never goes above 1 degree. I can put that in there, and then I can put a sensor on the meat, essentially, on the box with the meat, and I can track that all the way. And so I can see that at the 15th step of that chain, that was the place where the meat went up to 2 degrees. That was the weak link, and that was the problem. Now I know exactly in my supply chain where the problem is. And this can be applied in many, many different ways across the Internet of Things and across supply chains and other places where I'm looking for, is this being done the right way in the contract? Another example is around, are genuine parts being used in a plane, in a car, in places where I'm dealing with parts coming in from multiple sources. So blockchain is a very interesting technology that is starting to be put to use in the IoT space. I'm going to give you a real example here. One of the largest retailer in the world is a company named Walmart. They serve in the US alone about 220 million transactions a week. They are testing out blockchain for exactly that pork example I gave you earlier, and many other places across their food chain as they try and ensure they have better food quality in their stores. So let's watch a little video and just learn a little bit more about that.
You know, when there's a food event or a food scare, what you want to do is you want to be fast, but you want to be right. And so imagine if we could pinpoint with certainty within minutes, not days, the implicated product. Walmart and IBM are working to make that a reality. If you think about the food system, it's pretty complex. It involves farmers, processors, distributors. And the way traceability is done today, each segment of the food system does it their own way. Most actually do it on paper or on systems that don't speak to each other. What we hope to do with blockchain is bring all food safety system stakeholders and collaborate so that we do it one best way. We can do it very quickly and efficiently. Blockchain is a digital ledger that allows different segments of the food system to capture information about the product, what they've done to it, where that product has been. Was it produced safely? Was it produced responsibly? Is it sustainably grown? How many dates of shelf life are left on that product? If we're linking that data with other data points, the Internet of Things, all that information will yield to insights that will allow us to have a safer and better food system.
Okay, so fascinating use case there for blockchain and the Internet of Things and how it can impact our food quality around the world. So another hot topic and something that people talk about a lot is security, IoT security. We all have read the stories about the baby monitors that didn't perform the way they should, and that fills us all with dread. Anyone who has a family, it's the last thing we want to hear about a teddy bear that's connected up to the Internet of Things and somebody somehow hacked it and captured information. So we take security very, very seriously, and in fact we think the industry has an absolute responsibility along with associations around manufacturers around this topic. Most of these cases that we see with IoT hacking comes down to a very simple thing. Has the manufacturer reset factory passwords? So they will get chips and they have factory default password 0000, and they have not reset those. Okay, so that's the first thing, is the industry needs to take responsibility when it's building product and ensure that they're resetting and changing those passwords at the start. And consumers should demand that that is the case in the products they get shipped, and they should select products where manufacturers are responsible for that. Secondly, though, you need technology as a business person. If you're running a business or you're involved in a business and you're leveraging the Internet of Things, the starting point is around the endpoint. You know, this is the devices, this is the use of the technology, and that's a very important place to make sure that there is security. But there are a range of technologies we're putting to use as mobile phones, for example, for businesses create new exterior walls. You know, the old fortress of the company that doesn't allow anyone to take anything outside the company doesn't work anymore with mobile phones, with other devices that we walk around with. So we have technology now that allows proactive threat intelligence, that allows us to see when somebody's trying to come in the exterior. We have cyber technologies that allow us to look at that. And more what we're trying to do is use artificial intelligence now to look for abnormal behavior, to look at something that some device on the network that isn't behaving the way we expect it to, and then by rules, we can tell the artificial intelligence agent, if you see this behavior, disconnect the network there, or alert somebody who can take action. And this is very important, and so IBM starts from a security-first design standpoint. We then provide tooling that allows you to set rules and see unusual behavior. And then finally, we're putting artificial intelligence to work that is constantly monitoring for change of behavior, unusual behavior that allows a company to take very quick action and ensure that they don't end up on the front page of the paper with an IoT disaster. Okay, finally, a little bit of delve into what is this artificial intelligence? What is cognitive? What is that all about? So IBM believes that there's artificial intelligence, and then there's another layer of intelligence, which we call cognitive. Obviously, cognitive implies acting somewhat like a brain can act, and essentially we define it like this. It's technology that can actively learn, that recognizes patterns and context and interactions, and learns what is abnormal and normal about that. So it learns about what should be happening from a pattern standpoint. Secondly, it continuously adapts. Okay, so it learns from that and is able to adapt the way that it treats a particular situation. And finally, it relates insight in a very understandable way. So using probability, it can say this is occurring and it can communicate that back to us. So that's what we mean when we say cognitive technology. Now from an IoT standpoint, why is this interesting? Well, there are a number of capabilities that we can bring in this cognitive or artificial intelligence that is helpful. The first is machine learning. So this is essentially understanding the way the machine is, or the system is operating, the process is operating, and informing us back. So machine learning is an important capability. Secondly, natural language processing. So the ability to communicate via voice, for it to communicate back, and to have an ability to bring to life a thing. So for example, in cars, we're going to start to see the ability to give the car an instruction, or for the car to communicate with us. That's helpful when we're driving, for example, and the car says to us, you have a nail in your tire, would you like me to book you into the store that's down the street to have your tire changed? And by the way, would you like me to reschedule the meeting that you were meant to be in at 30 minutes because you won't make it? These are the types of rules and capabilities that we'll start to see built into the everyday appliances that we work with. So natural language processing is very important. Text analytics is another capability, and then finally the use of video analytics, using video recognition, being able to see things, or audio or image, and being able to again detect or see something, and is it normal, is it the way it should be? This is very helpful, for example, as I mentioned earlier, in quality inspection in manufacturing. So these are the types of capabilities we're seeing incorporated into the Internet of Things that we find very, very helpful. Examples where we're doing that, we have a bus we've built with a company named Local Motors. The name of this little bus is called Ollie, and Ollie has a voice. It has no steering wheel, but it has a voice. And you can tell it where you want to go, you can tell it what type of restaurant you'd like to go to, and it will take you there. It's got intelligence, and you can essentially dialogue with it that way. They found that was a very good way to help people feel more comfortable with an autonomous car. Another example of where we're seeing this sort of artificial intelligence and cognitive capabilities is in the use of drones. So drones are being used for many more things. For example, in the agricultural space, they're being used to do assessments of how much water needs to be used here. How's the crop performing? Are we getting the best yield from the area we have? And drones can be very, very helpful in doing these sort of inspections. Another company putting to use this artificial intelligence capability is a company named Ricoh. Ricoh are a Japanese business products company, and they have a whiteboard they call a cognitive whiteboard. Now this whiteboard is able to capture information in multiple languages, so that you can have a whiteboard in Japan and one here in Germany. You can be speaking German and ask it to take minutes. It will take those minutes on the whiteboard, and they'll show up in Japanese in Japan. You can say, pull up a map, pull up a building image, pull up the CAD drawing of that product, and it will do that for you as well. So these are intelligent whiteboards that are making the office space a better place to work, a more productive place to work. In Jefferson University Hospital in the US, we've tested putting an intelligent speaker into hospital rooms that knows a lot about the hospital. We found that about 20% of nurses' time was actually spent answering questions like, what time does the cafeteria open? What's the menu today? What time can my family come and visit? What's the qualification of my doctor? Is he able to help me with what I've got? And this speaker basically allows the patient to have a dialogue with an intelligent thing and to get the information they need rather than constantly having to buzz a nurse. Now, some of them love to do that and they'll still do that, but this is another thing that they can use and communicate with and get answers very, very quickly. Finally, and I find this such an inspirational story. In South Africa, this last week, we announced a new project that's about saving the rhinos. So there are more rhinos being killed, sadly, than are being born in the world right now. In many cases, this is to do with poachers who are trying to get their horns. Really a scourge on our planet and pretty horrible situation. So we are actually in a park in South Africa. We're putting IoT devices on sentinel animals like on gazelles and zebras and other creatures. And when the poachers come in, and they come in on helicopters with guns and horrible setup, those animals move in very predictable ways. They've actually broken down about 14 different ways that these animals run depending on who they're interacting with, whether it's a friendly face or a friendly individual, or whether it's a poacher coming in that they're scared of and don't know what it is. And by seeing the way they're moving and tracking the movement of these creatures, the park rangers are able to react very quickly and cut the poachers off before the animals get harmed. So we hope by learning more and more about the way these animals move, that we're able to get to a situation where we save these rhinos and help this species prosper on our planet. We have a little video on that, and I'll play that now.
The rhino has become one of the key species that is becoming endangered due to poaching throughout Africa, but now especially in South Africa. Up until now, poachers have been increasing in numbers and they've become more militarized with weapons, and so of course we've had to do the same. This is not sustainable. The only way to do this better is to bring in technology and things that they do not have.
The Wildlife Protection Program aims to protect rhino populations by using mega herbivores as a sentinel to detect poaching activity within a reserve.
So these sentinel animals have collars with a sensor on them. The sensor transmits information across a LoRa network, which is a low-power, wide-area network.
What we're looking at is the sensor collecting the data on the animal. That gets back to the 3G network onto the IBM IoT platform. That data is then analyzed real time for the specific patterns we're looking for.
Using technology, we are able to do far more and outcompete our competitors to ensure the survival of animals.
I don't think that us as humans have the right to destroy, but rather the responsibility to preserve.
Okay, well, what a great story, and certainly gives some hope for some of the endangered species on our planet, that we can use IoT and artificial intelligence to start to address big issues like poachers and the dying out of these endangered species. I'm just going to finish up with talking about some of the ways that are available for companies to experiment with IoT and to work on projects. So recently in Munich, we opened a state-of-the-art $250 million building, the Watson IoT headquarters. This building is a place where we actually co-live and treat as a co-laboratory with our clients. Many of our clients have actually taken space in this building with us. And we're developing with about 1,000 IBM architects, solutions experts, and researchers different proof of concepts around IoT technology and actually putting it to work in this building. So lots and lots of great work going on there. There are specific labs around manufacturing and insurance and auto and electronics, and a new one that's just opening up around government as well. And all of this about furthering the experimentation and the proof of concept and value for business and for governments and for people around the world. So this is a place where we're bringing the world's best around IoT together, and it's right on your back doorstep here. So I'm going to finish up there. The world is certainly an amazing place. The technology that is emerging is offering new opportunities for client relationships, for brand experience, for new revenue streams for businesses as they transform and go through digital transformations, and improving operations and operational efficiency, product quality, and productivity overall. It's a very exciting space. There's a lot to learn about it. And I think we're going to do a little bit of Q&A now.
Thanks a lot for this really inspiring sneak peek into the future and of the new possibilities that arise through IoT. Probably what our watching audience is asking is, what are the actual skills so we can be the master of IoT and not the slaves?
Well, I mean, that's a very broad question. And I think I'll start with it by talking about business. Technology is there for us to use. It's tools, it's capability, it's an enabler. The real value here actually is in learning how a business can operate, how a business should deal with its end customers. You know, this technology offers a whole new world of value that can be delivered, new ways of differentiating products, new ways of bringing more value to end customers, new ways of bringing efficiency, improving quality, improving the way operations occur. So it starts with around business outcome questions. So that's sort of the first thing I'd say. It offers tremendous opportunity at the technology level as well, though. You know, so many more engineers, software developers, people who can think through smart design of the outcomes they want to achieve, talk business, you know, play the role between business and the technology and deliver that value. There's tremendous opportunity there for people. For engineers of connected products, there's great opportunity to do things that take the product a long way further than the original designs. You know, this enables a new world of capability, a new world of value, a new way to interact. So there's a tremendous opportunity for people and new styles of jobs. You know, data analytics, you know, seeing the patterns in this data coming off, data scientists, tremendous opportunity there for people who want to get into the analytical spaces and use, you know, some of these artificial intelligence tools and agents to help pull through the data and see the data and get it presented in a particular way, look at the answers, you know, and make decisions on what to do with it. There's great opportunity in that space as well. So I would say in a world where data science is in huge demand, where the engineering and the design and the requirements gathering and the mapping to what are we going to build, you know, tremendous opportunity for people.
So it's beneficial to know how to code and to understand analytics?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think there'll be a lot of jobs created around that space. And of course, you know, this works both ways. I mean, there are things that we will automate that in the past were very manual. You know, there'll be factories where unsafe things, unsafe environments, where there are lots of dust, or, you know, environments where there were people being hurt in environments, and some of that will get automated. You know, there are roles. You know, I mean, the world of autonomous cars is obviously, you know, developing around us, and who knows how far that will go. It offers, you know, some really interesting futures, and, you know, you obviously, as a taxi driver or a bus driver, would be asking questions about, well, what am I going to transition my skills to? You know, so I think we're, as a company, looking at what we call you know, new technology, new collar style roles that are around these areas. You know, these opportunities to be involved in software development, in, you know, the leveraging of this technology to create, you know, new outcomes. So, you know, I think in any sort of revolution of technology, some jobs, you know, change, some jobs disappear, and new jobs occur and new opportunities occur.
You were talking about a new relationship to the customers that arises through the sensors and all the possibilities. Does that mean we have to learn a new way of talking, or a new language, if you want to call it like this?
Well, you know, I think, you know, the value proposition of a product has always been the most important thing. You know, what is the value that you get from that product? The capability now is going to be extended. You know, the product doesn't just, you know, do something, it's able to have a further, you know, step in the value chain. So, you know, it's able to detect that I've run out of soap powder, or I'm going to run out of soap powder because I've done, you know, 40 cycles and that's how many things I bought, and it might, you know, look ahead and take a step out of the shopping by ordering automatically for me. It's able to, as a car, notice that there's something wrong or that I need a service and to book that in for me. Maybe because of my hotel membership that I have, with the Hilton Group, for example, when I turn up at the Hilton, the room already knows who I am. It knows what temperature I like, that I like my curtains already closed. It knows that I'd like to connect into my smart home and see if my daughter did her homework or got home safely from her practice. There's the opportunity to extend the service, and again, all permission-based, based on what we personally want to experience, but there's that opportunity to provide another level of service by using this technology to bring new capabilities. So, in terms of what does a business need to do, it needs to be able to dream and then to deliver against the vision or the dream that they have, with the technology.
Gartner estimates that there will be 8.4 billion connected devices in use this year. By 2020, it will be 20.4 billion. We need business, we will need engineers, we need people who know how to connect, how to deploy, how to manage, how to analyze all these sensors and connected devices. Today we're already looking for these people.
Right.
How can we bridge the gap between demand and offer?
Well, the simple answer here is education skills. Government programs, schools that can offer it, professionals, help in professional development, new sorts of education programs that are a mixture of doing as well as theoretical learning. We're going to have to develop new things because you're right. There's a huge demand there. There's great big growth. Those numbers are unimaginably large, and they make all of our eyes water. But the opportunity there is immense, and we're certainly looking for great people that can do these sort of things.
So thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for the great insights.
Great.
And have still a great trip in Austria.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wirklich spannende Erkenntnisse, die uns Deon Newman in den letzten 45 Minuten präsentiert hat. Ich darf nun an meiner Seite Thomas Teufl, den Geschäftsbereichsleiter für Privat- und Firmenkunden, begrüßen, und wir werden jetzt die nächsten Fragen der Besucher beantworten und noch ein bisschen über den Konnex zwischen Bildung und IoT plaudern. Wir haben viele Möglichkeiten von IoT jetzt gehört, vor allem aber auch die Notwendigkeit für Bildung. Welche Bildung kann man sich da konkret vorstellen, die man benötigt?
Also der Vortrag von Deon Newman hat uns, glaube ich, sehr, sehr gut veranschaulicht, dass wir uns nicht mehr die Frage stellen müssen, wollen wir in diesen Zug einsteigen, sondern ich glaube, wir sitzen alle drinnen. Die Frage, die wir uns eher stellen sollten, welche Chancen nutzen wir in diesem Zug? Wo soll es für uns hingehen? Was wollen wir? Ich glaube nicht, dass das Thema IoT jetzt von heute auf morgen alle Themenbereiche abdecken wird. Es wird Bereiche geben, da wird es schneller voranschreiten. Es wird Themen geben, da wird der Mensch natürlich im Vordergrund bleiben. Das Thema von IoT deckt sich, glaube ich, sehr, sehr gut ab. Die Jobbilder werden sich verändern hin. Es muss weiterhin Menschen geben, die Sensoren einbauen. Es muss Menschen geben, die diese Sensoren programmieren. Und es muss Menschen geben, die diese Sensoren, die Daten auswerten und in Richtung des Kunden optimieren. Und ich glaube, das ist die Chance, die für uns alle da ist. Ich sehe Digitalisierung nicht als Feind, sondern eher als Veränderung, als Chance für ein besseres Umfeld.
Gehe ich gleich auf eine Frage aus dem Chat ein. Es ist auch die Frage gestellt worden, warum es derzeit vielleicht noch keine Jobinserate hinsichtlich Recommendation-Systeme gibt. Ich glaube, dass wir da noch am Beginn einer Reise sind und daher noch viele Firmen noch gar nicht wissen, dass sie diesen Bedarf zu decken haben. Aber ich bin ziemlich zuversichtlich, gerade im Bereich Machine Learning und Data Analysis und all diesen Themenbereichen, dass wir demnächst sehr viele Jobinserate sehen werden. Was bietet aber nun das BFI Wien konkret in Sachen Digitalisierung, Bildung, IoT an?
Also wir haben uns letztes Jahr dazu entschlossen, dass wir mehr als nur Seminare, Kurse, Ausbildungen anbieten wollen. Wir wollen Orientierung schaffen in diesem Digitalisierungsdschungel. Man hört es an allen Ecken und Enden, es wird thematisiert, aber sehr wenig kann man sich den Überblick verschaffen, was brauchen wir zukünftig in der Arbeitswelt. Und da haben wir uns zu dem Launch des DigiCampus entschlossen, wo wir alle unsere Produkte, die mit Digitalisierung zu tun haben, clustern und nicht nur die Produkte in den Vordergrund stellen, sondern auch anhand von neuen Personas versuchen, unseren Kunden, unseren zukünftigen Kunden einen Überblick zu verschaffen, was brauche ich zukünftig, welche Jobprofile wird es geben und wie kann ich diese am besten erreichen. Und natürlich einen Grundstein des Portfolios bietet natürlich die Programmierlogik. Hinter diesen ganzen Themen wie Internet of Things liegen aber trotzdem klassische Programmiersprachen wie Python, Java und so weiter. Thema, was sehr, sehr gut derzeit von unseren Kunden bzw. sehr nachgefragt wird, ist das Thema Programmatic in Bezug auf Raspberry, wo wir seit dem Herbst Kurse anbieten, die genommen werden. Und eins darf man auch nicht vergessen, im nächsten Jahr steht die neue Datenschutzverordnung vor der Tür und auch hier gibt es ein passendes Seminar, um sich einen Überblick zu verschaffen, wie und in welcher Form wird mich oder mein Unternehmen das Thema erreichen.
Wie wird IoT oder Digitalisierung deiner Meinung nach die Bildung an sich verändern?
Ich glaube, ein bisschen hat das Lernen bei uns allen schon verändert. Wenn ich da gleich einen kleinen Seitenschwenk bringen darf, ich glaube, die zwei jüngsten Zuseher heute sind meine beiden kleinen Söhne von 1 Jahr und von 3 Jahren. Hallo Luca, hallo Luis. Und die wachsen schon in dieser neuen Welt, wie gesagt, auf. Seit Jahren wird auch im öffentlichen Schulsystem schon auf Whiteboard gesetzt, weg von der klassischen Tafel. Das heißt, die Kinder werden im frühen Alter mit dem Thema Digitalisierung, Vernetzung konfrontiert. Laptop-Klassen sind mittlerweile in gewissen Schulen schon Standard, iPad-Klassen werden eingeführt und den riesigen Vorteil, auch um auch Vorteile immer aus der Digitalisierung herauszukehren, ich glaube, es hat sich sehr, sehr viel getan, dass man mittlerweile wirklich auch teilweise sehr gut, sehr gratis Bildung konsumieren kann. Und das noch überall, wo ich will, wann ich will und ziemlich schnell. Und ich glaube, das bringt viele Vorteile mit und dem müssen wir uns stellen. Und für uns als Bildungsinstitut ist es natürlich auch ganz, ganz wichtig, so nahe dem Kunden wie möglich seine Bildung anbieten zu können, dass wir ihm Tools anbieten, mit denen er flexibel lernen kann, eben wann er will und und ich glaube, das ist ein wesentlicher Teil, ein wesentlicher Vorzug in der heutigen Gesellschaft.
Hast du da konkrete Beispiele, was das BFI Wien plant für unsere Zuseher?
Ja, also wir haben vermehrt E-Learning im Einsatz. Ja. Eine Maßnahme ist auch heute wieder unser Expertenwebinar, was wir versuchen unseren Kunden zu ermöglichen über spannende Themen, die derzeit stark in den Medien vertreten sind, damit man da einfach mehr Hintergründe auch erfährt. Auf der Schiene werden wir natürlich draufbleiben. Wir haben Apps mittlerweile im Einsatz, um unseren Kunden vor allem in Vorbereitung auf Prüfungen, auf Abschlüsse in den jeweiligen Lerndienstleistungen einfach ein gutes Package anbieten zu können, damit sie auch daheim üben können, damit sie so gut wie möglich vorbereitet zur Prüfung gehen können. Und dementsprechend werden wir hier natürlich unser Portfolio immer weiterhin anpassen.
Wie soll man sich also deiner Meinung nach jetzt zusammenfassend auf die Digitalisierung, auf das Thema IoT vorbereiten? Gilt das für jeden? Muss es an jeder machen?
Ich glaube, das Wichtigste ist, vielleicht eine alte Weisheit, ich glaube, man sollte die Dinge selber entscheiden oder den Weg, den man einschlägt, dazu sollte man stehen. Ich glaube, die Entscheidung muss jeder Einzelne treffen, jeder mit dem Weg mit. Ich würde einfach nur mitgeben, auf diesem Weg einfach offen an die Themen heranzugehen, ja? Sich eventuell auch damit auseinandersetzen, wenn Sie jetzt einen gewissen Job ausüben, wie kann der zukünftig aussehen, welche Vorteile kann man durch diese Digitalisierung, Internet of Things vielleicht für sich gewinnen, wo kann man sich vielleicht in seiner Branche noch besser auf den Kunden einstellen. Und ich für meinen Teil habe mitgenommen, dass ich einfach ein bisschen offener auch mich daheim bewege. Ja. Ich glaube, die Großteil der Waschmaschinen, die jetzt ausgeliefert werden, verfügen mittlerweile schon über eine App-Steuerung, dass ich eigentlich schon per Smartphone meine Waschmaschinen bedienen könnte. Und die Fernseher sowieso. Wer schaut heutzutage nicht schon mit seinem Fernseher im Internet? Also da tut sich ganz, ganz viel. Und wenn man da einfach offen durch die Welt geht, diesen neuen Themen offen gegenüberstellt, sich auch mit denen auseinandersetzt, auch in kritischer Form, ist natürlich absolut legitim und auch, glaube ich, auch ganz, ganz wichtig. Dann wird man hier nicht auf der Strecke bleiben.
Das ist ein guter Punkt. Ich sehe da gerade eine Frage auch im Chatroom. Das geht um das Thema Machine Learning versus Recommendation-Systeme, wie die zusammenhängen. Das beantworte ich gleich ganz kurz. Diese beiden Bereiche können nicht ohne einander. Also die Grundlage für jedes Empfehlungssystem sind normalerweise eben Machine Learning Algorithmen, die anhand von User-Daten das Verhalten analysieren, lernen und dementsprechend dann Empfehlungen geben. Ich glaube, wir kennen alle Beispiele wie Amazon, wo Produkte angepriesen werden, die halt auch Kunden gerne gekauft haben, die uns sehr ähnlich sind. Das heißt, die Grundlage, Machine Learning zu lernen, um im späteren Bereich dann im Recommendation-System tätig sein zu können, ist sicher eine großartige Grundlage. Ja, also wir sind schon relativ weit fortgeschritten mit unserer Zeit. Gibt es noch einen Punkt, den du abschließend gerne ansprechen möchtest?
Viel habe ich, glaube ich, in meinem Abschlussstatement schon gesagt. Ich glaube, es braucht keine Angst haben vor der Digitalisierung. Ich glaube, jede Veränderung in den letzten 20, 30, 40, 50 Jahren oder wahrscheinlich auch schon wesentlich länger haben natürlich gewisse Ängste mitgebracht, mit denen man sich stellen hat müssen. Aber ich glaube, es gab kaum ein Thema, auf das man sich nicht eingestellt hat. Und ob das jetzt war, wie das Internet gelauncht wurde oder sonstiges oder ein Handy, ein Smartphone gekommen ist, das sind alles Themen mittlerweile, die wir alle verinnerlicht haben, die wir zu schätzen wissen, die gewisse Felder auch in unserem Leben einfacher gemacht haben. Und ich glaube, an das gilt es zu denken, die Chancen zu nutzen. Und ich hoffe, dass wir auch als das BFI Wien mit unserem Expertenseminar, Webinar mit dem Herrn Deon Newman, mit dem VIC-Präsidenten, was uns eine große Ehre war, Ihnen wieder gute Inhalte vermitteln haben können, um sich jetzt einen besseren Überblick verschaffen haben zu können.
Herzlichen Dank. Ich danke Ihnen dafür, dass Sie so lange durchgehalten haben und zugesehen haben und freue mich schon, wenn wir Sie künftig bei weiteren Webinaren begrüßen dürfen. In diesem Sinne, schönen Nachmittag, Wiedersehen.